Good morning.
Good morning, Facebook.
Welcome to Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth.
Live on Tuesday.
I'm going to stick the links in the comments this morning. A couple of resources there for you.
It felt like a fall morning this morning. It was nice.
I know.
I like it.
All right. How's it going? How's it going with you?
Oh, I'm good. How's it going with you?
Good. Crazy busy. Good.
Let us know if you are here. Give us a heart, a laugh, a win.
Yes, please laugh at us. We are quite comical. Speaking of comical, hopefully we don't have connection issues today. We had some trouble last week. So if you hung in there with us through all three of the parts of our Facebook Live, then you get a gold star. And speaking of gold stars, we are going to be talking about how to get through early labor like a boss this morning. We'll introduce ourselves briefly, and then we'll dive right into the topic. So I am Amy Moy. I am a certified Cornerstone birth doula, a certified Cornerstone childbirth educator, and a placenta specialist.
And I am Jen Kelly, and I am a trained birth doula and a trained Cornerstone childbirth educator.
Badass. She forgets that part sometimes.
I know. My cape is under my clothing.
Right. Morning. In disguise. It's Halloween week, though. We could have made this more fun.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, well. Anyway, so together we are Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth. We have joined forces to bring some really great modern evidence-based information to the greater Sacramento area. We love teaching childbirth classes together. If you want to find out more about our classes, you can click on the link in the comments and go directly to our website. You can read up on the method that we teach, as well as get information about upcoming classes and how to register. So as I mentioned at the top, we are going to be helping you get through early labor. And I know.
It's a tough one.
It is, but it gets tougher, right?
Yes.
So active in transition will sneak up on you. And
I think the tough part is that it's just that weird in-betweeny. Like you're not sure what's happening, if it is, if it's real. Which it definitely is real. So yeah, let's get through it.
Yeah, we don't use the false word around here. We call it pre-labor.
Yes.
So even if you are not in true early labor, we consider that pre-labor because things are happening in your body.
Yes.
And your cervix is still making change, even if it's not fully dilated at that point.
Right.
So no matter what your birthing location is, whether you are planning a home birth, a freestanding birth center birth, or a hospital birth, you are going to need to cope with early labor. And early labor is not necessarily supposed to be the most intense part of your labor, but it can be quite long, especially for first timers, right? So Jen and I love to talk about the anatomy and physiology of birth, what's happening in your body when you're having your baby. And there are two sets of muscles that have to get coordinated in order to produce real dilating contractions. And so some of those muscles are pulling up and some of the muscles are pushing down, and they have to work coordinately to bring you your baby.
Yeah.
So, everybody goes through early labor, and there's a wide range of normal. It can be from 6 hours to 24 hours, right? And so there's, we talk a lot about wide ranges of normal in birth because no birth is the same. Even if you hire a doula, which we definitely recommend, that's our bias, right? We wish everybody had access to great birth support when they're bringing their babies. But even if you hire a doula, you'll most likely be getting through some portion of early labor with your partner or partners, if applicable. Most doulas are joining births more in the active stage. We will always join you when you're ready for us to join you, but we find with good preparation, good childbirth education, great information at prenatals, our clients are less likely to call us during early labor.
Right.
And so there will be some time, even if you've hired a doula, where we really want you to have some strategies to get through early labor.
And I think you'll understand why we don't necessarily want to be in your early labor arena, because
hormones.
Yes. There's things that are happening behind the scenes in your body that don't want to be disrupted. And we're going to give you all these fantastic tips as to what you should do.
Absolutely.
So if you are planning a home birth, you'll still have quite a bit of time that you're going to be doing early labor before your midwives come, and even before your doula comes. So these tips are going to help you through that.
Absolutely.
Freestanding birth centers, we kind of talked about that already. It's similar, not exact, but it's similar to being admitted into a hospital, that the midwives at the birth center may want you to be in active labor before coming into the birth center. And then we have hospital birth, and what do they say? 6 is the new 4 as far as dilation, when they consider you to be in active labor, and that's kind of the time frame that hospitals want to have you come in and be admitted. We do find they, depending on what's going on, that they will admit you before that, but that's the sweet spot that they kind of want you to be 6 centimeters dilated before being admitted into the hospital.
Absolutely. And, we're not saying that you are, but if you are planning a low to no interventive birth, meaning you're not interested in utilizing any medications or procedures to get your labor going or sped up, once you get to the hospital, you really are a kid in a candy store. So I've had plenty of clients say they want me to gently challenge them to get through labor without the need for medications. And I really do mean gently. It's not me hovering over them saying, no, you said
Drill
you
Sergeant
don't want...
Amy.
Right, no, that's not it. But some people like to be reminded of what the procedure is to get an epidural. And usually by the time I get to, and you'll be catheterized, they're like, okay, I'm good. Talk to me in an hour.
I can work harder. Yeah,
absolutely. So, if you are trying to either delay the use of meds or forego them completely, if you get to the hospital earlier on in your labor, it could A, make you more likely to utilize them, and B, we talk about a sweet spot with epidurals. So one of the side effects of an epidural is it really can mess with your contraction pattern. And so our general rule of thumb is try to hold off until you get to 5 centimeters. There's this 5 to 7 centimeter sweet spot where you are less likely to have your contraction pattern interrupted,
right?
Because of the extreme relaxation your body is now feeling. So, it's definitely not foolproof. We've certainly had clients opt for an epidural earlier on in labor. Contraction pattern was unaffected. But on the whole, we do see more Pitocin being used the earlier on that the epidural is put in place.
Yeah, it's kind of establishing a really good labor pattern before kind of throwing in an interruption. And there is a misconception out there that there is a certain cutoff point to where you can get epidurals, and it's the cutoff point's pretty much baby coming out. I've had that 9 3/4 centimeter epidural, and it just depends on what's going on and how you can tolerate the procedure. So keep that in mind. And even though it's not evidence-based practice to put clients on that 24-hour clock once they are admitted to have a baby within that time frame, especially if your membranes have ruptured, that puts another wrench in it. But some providers are kind of old school and they abide by that. And so you could feel rushed if you kind of go into the hospital a little too early in your early labor phase. Absolutely.
And once you start dipping your toe into those procedures, you might find yourself on a cascade of interventions. So, that's a real thing. And what happens, you want to talk about what happens once you utilize one intervention?
It's kind of a snowball effect. It tends to be a snowball effect. So once something is added into the mix, I'll use Pitocin for an example. It's your contractions can become a little bit more intense. And so something to help with that intensity is usually, no, I'll take usually out. It can have you needing more help coping with those contractions. So that would mean additional interventions coming in.
Yeah, so you have to counteract the side effects of one med or procedure with the next. So that's that cascade.
Thank you.
All right. And so the name of the game for early labor, well, there's two: rest and stay connected to your partner or partners if applicable. So those are our best tips, right? We're going to get more detailed in just a moment, but really at the heart of it, we want you as rested as possible once active labor starts so that you have the energy on board to cope. Okay?
Bank the rest.
Absolutely. So there are 2 times of day when labor could start, right? It could start in the middle of the night. It could start during the day. So in the middle of the night, we see a lot more labor start during this time. And there are some biological reasons for why that is. So number one, we talk about the cave a lot in our classes. So we're mammals. Mammals have their babies in caves, right? Where it's dark and private and quiet. Well, at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're in bed, those conditions are present, right? It's dark, it's safe, you're private, you're in your cave. Your hormones are at their peak during that period. So those are the things that are at play, which cause more labors to start at night. So if your labor starts in earnest at night, we have some quick tips. Number one, try to stay in bed. We fully know it's easier said than done. You're going to probably be excited, possibly a little anxious about what lies ahead.
Confused.
Absolutely. All of these emotional signposts may be present. And if you stay in bed, you're at least going to be more rested, even if you can't fall asleep. So turn off all artificial lights. Light your candles or turn on your LEDs. More people use LEDs than flame candles anymore. So light some candles, turn on your LED candles, play some lovely music, cuddle with your partner if you have a partner with you, kiss, right? Those things get the oxytocin flowing. There's Ginger. Ginger, the doula cat, is bum rushing our video here, video bombing. And, we really just try to keep the oxytocin flowing. That will keep your labor progressing even while you are resting.
Definitely. So what, on the flip side, should you do if your labor starts during the day? This is the key for labor starting during the day. Ignore, ignore, ignore. You want to ignore as much as you can. So it's acknowledging that, yes, things are happening, and then stepping away from it. So go about your day. Don't feel like you need to time every contraction. That's also a big no-no. It can stretch your labor out. Like we said, early labor happens to be the longest phase in the first stage of labor. I got that backwards, didn't I? Stage phase, I always do. So if you start to time every single contraction, you are going to feel like you're in labor for a very long time. So only start to time contractions if you feel a change in them. So if they seem to be getting more intense, the duration is changing, and the time in between. That's when you should just take a snippet of timing the contractions.
The other thing I like to say about phones, right? So everybody uses the contraction timer app on their phone now. Nobody uses paper and pencil unless your phone is just MIA. So if you are connected to the device, who are you not connected to? Your partner, if you have a partner present. Right. So, that is going to tamp oxytocin flow down.
And even if you happen to not have a partner present, it's still going to take you away from the things that you should be doing if you're constantly on the phone trying to time contractions. So even if, you're not cuddling and kissing a partner, there are many other things to be doing instead of timing your contractions on your phone. So think ahead. Think about some activities you can do to get you through the irregularity of most early labor. So things are not consistent at that time or anything like that. Remember, things are trying to get working together inside your body with hormones and muscles and all that kind of stuff. So short walks in nature, get out into nature. That is totally what you should be doing if weather permits this time of year, but also nothing too strenuous. So not a hike in nature. So we're talking about some easy walking in nature.
Yeah, you don't want to be too far from home when active labor hits, right?
Very true. Yeah. Very true. Journaling, journal about what you're feeling, about your experience. Sometimes getting it out of your head and your body onto paper is very comforting and relaxing. And so that's kind of the state that we want you to be in. Watch a comedy, watch a rom-com, sit on the sofa, cuddle up with your partner if there is one there, and laugh. Laughter also helps to bring on the oxytocin. So if you're cuddling and kissing and laughing, that's 3 ways that you are helping oxytocin flow. So that's great stuff.
Woo-hoo.
I know. Go out to dinner, go out to lunch. I actually had a client that went out to lunch, and she said that she was feeling something, but she just thought it was, after lunch kind of uncomfortable feeling, but she was actually in early labor. So it's very distracting when you go out to have a meal and talk and all that kind of good stuff.
Absolutely. And so I get to talk about pampering things.
Yay!
So go get a pedicure. Did you know that your feet have pressure points that can bring on more progress in your labor? So I always recommend to my clients, splurge for the extra 10-minute massage on your feet. So that can be a lovely activity to do. Get a massage. We have some favorites in our community. One that I love to recommend is Jillian Van Ness. She does Watsu massage, which is you are in water, and it's the most gentle massage, and it actually ends up being kind of like a little bit of a gentle chiropractic adjustment, even though she would not say that. She's not a chiropractor. She's a massage therapist, but it is lovely.
Warm water.
Yeah, and we can hook you up with lots of other massage therapists that we love in our community as well.
They can go to you or you can go to them.
Chiropractic adjustments. So, if you are a fan of chiropractic, you understand how when your body is aligned, your muscles and ligaments are not being pulled in funky ways. Your pelvis is surrounded by ligaments. We have another person in our community who we just heard a talk from, Dr. Lynn Gerner, who talks about how, if these ligaments are out of whack,
right,
it really can impact the position that your baby's in. So think about going to get a chiropractic adjustment. You can do all of these things while you're in labor. And if you are a fan of acupuncture, we highly recommend that. Acupuncture can be wonderful. And acupressure. So I have some additional training in acupressure for birth workers. And I'm thinking of the last birth a few days ago where my clients were, she was just having really sporadic, funky, like 30 minutes apart, 10 minutes apart, 15 minutes apart, 8 minutes apart. And they were all lasting for different lengths. And it was frustrating for her. And that's okay, right? That's kind of the nature of early labor. But this had gone on for a couple of days for her. So she was kind of done. And so I went over and did some body work with her. I taught her partner how to apply the acupressure, how to apply the pressure to the acupressure points. And 2 hours later, I got a call and she was moaning.
Yay!
So that, something we did worked and got her into a great labor pattern. Other things that you could think about ahead of time, saving for early labor, put a last minute piece of baby furniture together, as long as that's not a stressful venture, right? Sometimes it's stressful to build furniture.
Don't build IKEA furniture.
Right. Where's the Allen wrench? So, put a piece of furniture together. We've certainly had clients, wash and rewash and fold their baby's clothes. I mean, nothing gets oxytocin flowing like looking at these beautiful, outfits and tiny little socks. That'll get the awe going, right? Work a puzzle, play games if you're a game family. But at the heart of it, remember, we told you the two most important things are to rest and stay connected. Make sure that in between these activities, you are taking some time to lay down, take a cat nap here and there, and just make sure that you keep the energy flowing.
Definitely. And don't forget to eat and drink water. Those are two also very, very important things. So,
absolutely.
If you're dehydrated, your contractions are not going to be as efficient. So the muscles will not work optimally if you are dehydrated. And eat. Keep up that nourishment. Keep up that energy. And because further down the line, you may not, you're not going to want to eat a big meal. It would be more like little bites of food. So you want to keep up with that protein. Make sure it's long-lasting energy that you're looking for. So some carbs, but more protein.
And think electrolytes too.
Yes.
So, we talk about in class when we talk about the nutrition piece, you can actually drink too much water, and then that makes it difficult for your body to absorb the minerals that you need. And so every other glass could be an electrolyte drink, and there are lots of different resources for that. Maybe we could talk about that another time.
Yes. Quickly though, not Gatorade.
Yeah, no, that will dehydrate you like nothing.
Yes.
Nothing else.
So what are some great positions and physical things that you can do to cope with early labor? There is a circuit called the Mile Circuit, and we'll link that, or it's already linked, I think. It's already linked in the comments. And it's just a hour and a half circuit. You do 3 different positions for 30 minutes, and it helps getting your body in a good position, for baby to be in good position. But you can also get some really good rest, especially the second part. Second part's awesome to get a really good cat nap in for at least 30 minutes. So
absolutely. And if you don't already know about the fantastic resource that is Spinning Babies, go to spinningbabies.com and read up on all of the different things you can do throughout pregnancy and in labor to influence a real positive position for your baby to be in, the most optimal position. They have a daily routine that you can do all throughout pregnancy, and you can even do it in early labor. That link is also included in the comments.
Think kitchen sink squats. So if you're not sure what that is, it's just basically facing your sink, grabbing a hold of that counter and side of your sink, and squatting down. It's a really good way to open the pelvic floor muscles and all that kind of good stuff that's going to need to be open to get the baby out. So think toes forward, not out. So forward. That keeps the right parts of your hips to open. If your toes are out, it actually makes the opening and the inlet and the outlet smaller. So you want to make sure that your toes are forward. They work great.
Yeah, and I mean, I've demonstrated, I like to take a tour of my clients' houses during their second prenatal, and I point out all the really great places to labor. And, a woman of my size is perfectly supported hanging on to the kitchen sink. So don't feel like it's not going to hold you.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're positioning your body, we want you to think about forward leaning positions. And why that's so important is it allows your baby, the heaviest part of your baby, which is his or her spine and head, to swing forward. And that's considered a more optimal position for birth. Baby has to make fewer rotations to enter and exit your pelvis. And so if you think about making a hammock for your baby, that can really shorten your labor, because more maneuvering for baby means longer labor. So think about forward-leaning positions. Look around your house. People who don't have their couches against the wall, Couch height is really great. Kitchen counters and islands
Yes.
are really great for forward leaning. When you're leaning forward, follow the needs of your body. Most people, if they do what feels right, will sway, rock their hips, do hip rotations. Ooh, this is a physical one today. So, that can not only promote optimal fetal positioning, but it can take some pressure off your low back, which most people really appreciate.
Definitely. Another thing for low back, hands and knees doing cat-cow. Hands and knees is also just a great comforting position. You can actually drop your knees down and get more, for those yogis out there, into the child's pose and all that kind of good stuff. But cat-cow are wonderful stretches for your back.
Absolutely.
And also the front. So the front ligaments and all that kind of good stuff.
A lot of home birth midwives, when they get the call that their patients are in early labor, will say, okay, get down on the floor, scrub your floor. So you're moving, you're rocking, your hips are nice and open. That's just an old school midwifery secret. Okay, so think about how you can utilize your birth ball to contribute to coping with early labor. So 360-degree rotations. You can also do figure eights. That's really hip opening and can be really relieving to low back stuff. Another just tip, this is not really early labor germane, but if you're in later labor and you're feeling a lot of pressure in your perineum, that support of sitting on the birth ball can be very relieving for some people. I saw it be really effective for one of my most recent births.
And as Amy mentioned before, acupressure points to keep labor flowing. So like she pointed out, it kind of got somebody going really good.
Yeah.
So see your doula if they do have that extra training for acupressure, and or an acupuncturist if you're already connected to one.
All right. And we want you to rest, right? So we talked about, finding time in between all this positioning and activities that you're doing to distract yourself from the fact that you are finally in labor, but we want you rested as well. So you're just we're going to hammer that one into you. Rest, rest, rest. But we like to recommend a specified kind of rest called active resting. So we talk a lot about the hips and how we want them to be nice and open to allow baby to progress further down into your pelvis. That's less work you have to do once you're pushing, right? So we like that. So active resting is just thinking about body mechanics and how to keep your hips open if you're lying on your side. Most people know to pile up some pillows. A lot of our clients get the pregnancy pillows and we love peanut balls because they really offer an exaggerated hip opening position. A lot of people don't know that it's also helpful to put the pillows between your ankles. What happens is when you put the pillows between your knees, your hips open, but then the weight of your foot ends up pulling your top hip down. And so, that sort of negates what you're doing between your knees. Right. So if you're not already in your pillow fortress at night, putting pillows between your ankles as well, we recommend adding that to your routine.
Definitely. And another part of active resting that you will see if you look at the mile circuit is think of almost like a runner's pose. So you want, if you're laying on your side or exaggerated far over towards your stomach as you possibly can, having a baby in the way, but keep that top knee coming up towards your chest. So that's kind of, if you think of a running pose on your side, and that is, again, is just keeping those hips nice and open. And it's almost like a squat laying down. So you're stimulating a squat laying down.
Definitely. All right. Oh, you want to talk about?
Sure. Music. So we recommend relaxing music during rest. That's going to just allow you to get into a deeper rest. But also during the day, if you are trying to stay active and kind of in that distraction mode, think of, fun music to get you up and dancing. Dancing is so great during early labor. It does the hips. Think you can almost think work, to keep your hips going and all that kind of good stuff. But just swaying around good to some good music is going to be a good distraction, but it's also going to be working your body.
There are some great pregnant people dancing videos. We actually like to show some on the last day just to celebrate moving in your body and being comfortable with your sensuality and who you are as a pregnant person. So definitely look those up on
and
YouTube.
Make one and send us a link.
There you go. Yeah, we'd love to use your
yes.
pregnant person dancing video. The last one, well, actually, there's a couple. So relaxation scripts are wonderful for just helping you to get into your zone, get into a really nice, relaxed space. So you can, look up on YouTube and have it read to you that way. The workbook that we give to each of our participants has a relaxation script at the end of each chapter, and it's got instructions for how to do it and make the conditions right for true relaxation. You can also Google relaxation scripts and find one or a couple that speak to you. Some people like to go to the beach when they're relaxed. Some people like to be in the forest. Some people like to think of themselves in a room and light beaming down into their body. So whatever works for you,
you'll find it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I pulled these
out. So affirmation cards and posters. So these are good ones that you could just download and put like on a cardstock paper. And it also gives you something to do to color them. They're backwards and upside down in my hand. So it gives you something to do. Coloring is very therapeutic. So get those colored pencils or markers out. And then you'll have some nice, colorful birth affirmations to take with you to your birthing location or to have at home if you're having a home birth. And there's lots of different types and affirmations that you can do. So you can either make, small affirmation cards by just writing them on like index cards or download some nice big ones.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say it again because it warrants saying it again. You are going to be in active labor and transition and the second stage, which is pushing out your baby eventually. So if you want to have the most energy stores on board, rest as much as you possibly can. Nourish your body. Hydrate your body with great electrolytes. We have seen labor be so impacted both positively and not so positively when our clients have a hard time resting. And sometimes it's no fault of their own.
Right.
But if you take charge of your early labor and really let this sink in, that rest really is your best friend, you will be so happy that you did.
Yes. It's, I said banking rest and everything like that, but it's so much more than that. It's, getting yourself in a spot emotionally so you can be there for yourself physically when you really need it, when active labor is going in. We don't lie. It gets a lot more intense. So you just need to get that early labor in a good spot so you can have a great active labor.
And just know that you've got this.
Oh, yeah.
What is the statistic? Like 300,000 people around the world are having a baby the same day that you are having a baby. So channel that energy. Know that we've been doing this since the beginning of time. Your body knows what to do. Your baby knows what to do. We just have to get out of our own way and trust the process.
And that's kind of what early labor is learning how to get out of your own way, out of your own head during the easier part.
Absolutely.
So you can be in labor land when you need to.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Let's do the shout out. So we have on Instagram, that's, I believe, Stephanie Gelenti. Yes, okay. Kim, she went from Facebook over to Instagram. So, hey, over there. I can't see any of the other ones that might be a little bit higher.
Thank you for watching.
Everybody, yes. And Connie, thank you for your comment. I think all OB nurses should take our class.
That would be
We
so
would
fun.
love it.
Open invitation. We'll give you a good deal.
Yes, just let us know if you want to come sit in and get some wonderful information to take back to work.
I'm so glad we didn't have connection issues
today. Me neither. One whole full video.
All right, so we'll do our outros, give you our deets, how you can contact us, and then make sure you check out the comments below to get all of the information you need about our classes, links to the resources we mentioned. And I think eventually, I have to run after this, but I will put in a link in the comments to where I found these great affirmation
Oh yeah,
cards.
that'd be awesome.
So, and you can just download them and print them. They're black and white. You can turn them into coloring sheets.
Awesome.
So who are you,
so
and how do we get a hold of you?
Once again, I am Jen Kelly, and my business is Belly to Bliss Birth Services, and you can find me at bellytobliss.com. My email is jennifer@bellytobliss.com. My phone number is 209-322-5271. On Facebook, I am the same, Belly to Bliss Birth Services, and that is it, I think, for me.
Okay. Amy Moy, my business is Riverbend Birth Services. Riverbendbirthservices.com is where you can read more information about my services. On Facebook, same name, Riverbend Birth Services. My Instagram handle is @Sacramento Doula. Phone number is 916-769-7648. And if you'd like to email me, it's amy@riverbendbirthservices.com. And together,
we are Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth.
Absolutely. So if you want to read up on our classes, our website is SAC Cornerstone Childbirth. So saccornerstonechildbirth.com. Same name on Facebook, Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram is Sac Cornerstone Childbirth. You can call my number if you'd like to ask in-person questions about the class.
You can also email us at
Sacramento.
Is it Sacramento? I haven't done outros in a while. Sacramento Cornerstone.
I think it's Sac.
Okay, Sac Corner. We need to write this in notes for Jen here. Please, if you want information, email us at saccornerstonechildbirth@gmail.com.
There we go. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. And if you're in early labor today, you've got this.
Bye. All right, Instagram.